Okay, hey, welcome back everybody to Concept Pending. It's the Heroes and Villains podcast where we discuss how we go about designing things, what goes into our product, and the geeky obsessions that all of us are into. Today I have Kirk Kirkley and Mike Dixon with me.
Hello.
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 We're going to be discussing, I don't know, which one do you guys want to do? Do you have a preference?
Do you think we can do multiple?
Yeah, we can do all three.
I mean, I don't know, because I think some of them could be rapid.
Yeah, we're going to be doing some top five lists.
So I would say that we had two that we mentioned that were related. We could do those two first, and then the third one?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Without spoiling what topics we're going to be on.
No. Okay, first one. We're going to say our top 5 Batman performances. We're going to start with number 5. All right. So, Kirk?
You want me to go first? Sure. Yeah. So starting at number 5. Okay. So, bottom probably going to be like George Clooney. He's down here.
Okay.
I mean, well, this thing I can't quantify how many are just off the top of my head. How many are? But like
more than 5.
Okay, more than 5. Okay, well then fine. Then George Clooney on the list. So Adam West up there. He's probably, because I have a lot more experience with the other actors as Batman than I do Adam West, even though he's a classic. All right. So Adam West, number 5.
All right.
Mike, I don't know.
What's your number 5?
My number 5. I always think about the comments, right? So I'm going to have to put Christian Bale at the bottom.
Yeah, that's fair.
Valid.
That's fair.
100% valid. He wasn't going to make my list.
I'm not sure how to pronounce this dude's last name. I'm going to take a stab at it. Olin Soul, or Sewell. He's the guy that did Batman's voice on Challenge of the Super Friends.
You get down into it.
Yeah.
Man.
Dude, that was
That
was
awesome. That's a good voice.
show.
I might have to rethink all of my answers.
Right. If we're doing, I've got a voice actor in my list.
That's why I very
me too, number
specifically
1.
said
right.
performances.
Okay.
Right?
I 100% got live action, just kind of like nailed into my head. This is bad. Although I'm sitting here trying to think of Batman voice actors besides Kevin and drawing a blank. So
yeah, well, all right.
I like that. Okay.
So number 4.
Yeah.
I'll put Val Kilmer at number 4. I really like Batman and Batman Forever. Batman Forever was probably my first. And so my mom, for some reason, when I was born, she bought me a bunch of Batman Forever toys. And so my first Batman merchandise that I remember having even as a little kid was Batman Forever. But then I went back and watched it and I was like, okay, I actually really do like Jim Carrey as the Riddler, and Val Kilmer's actually a pretty solid Bruce Wayne in my opinion. He's got the look, he's got the hair, he's got the suaviness, but then he kind of, it's Batman's whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Val Kilmer.
How did you feel about Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face?
Oh, honestly, I loved him. Yeah. It's a little over the top, but
I felt bad that Billy D. Williams got robbed.
Yeah.
Because he should have been able to be Two-Face at some point.
I agree.
But we didn't.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, that's a great movie. But it's always a reminder of what Tim Burton could have done with that movie. It's but I thought everybody in that one did a great job. I mean, it was the girl who was what was her name?
Oh, Nicole Kidman.
Nicole Kidman,
Dr. Madison.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. No, that was a great one.
Was
so
she
Madison Chase.
Madison,
Sorry.
yes. She's Dr. Chase. Yes, I remember you hear that name so many times throughout the movie. Was she a new DC character with that movie? Did he make up a brand new character?
Oh, I'm pretty sure if she's from the comic, she's a minor character, and I think she was just in the movie.
Okay.
Yeah. Vicki Vale was in the comics, but not a major character until after the '89 movie.
Vicki Vale.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I actually they have her in the Arkham games.
Yeah.
And I really, really liked her in Arkham Asylum. I don't know why. I just thought she was super cool. She's always you see her helicopter going around the island all the time, and it's super cool. I just love it. She's so super dedicated.
It's hilarious that she's a reporter there and not just a photographer.
Right.
It's a totally different vibe.
Yeah. Every time I watch Batman, with Michael Keaton, every time I watch it with my dad, every time Vicki Vale comes out, I have to say, Vicki Vale! Because he's had a crush on Vicki Vale since I can remember, Yeah, it's hard for me to actually think of top Batman performances because I look at Batman and Bruce Wayne kind of a little bit separate.
Well, I was thinking just the character in general, not just. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like Bruce Wayne, because I think 'Cause, I mean,
Well, if you want to separate them out and pick one or the other, like focus on just Batman or just Bruce Wayne, that's cool.
okay. Well, I mean, somebody said Ben Affleck's not going to make it, and I'm like, oh no, what do you mean? Because he was a great Bruce Wayne in my opinion. But I also think he didn't get his fair.
I think that's also fair to say. I remember people being mad about that, and other than having a lot of Mallrats quotes jumping through my head at the announcement.
Yeah,
he is the best part of Batman versus Superman. He is 100% the best part of that movie.
Well, and the way that he bulked up for the role, and then like you mentioned Arkham, like the Bruce Wayne in Arkham reminds me a lot of like this stature, like Ben Affleck's stature. So I kind of liked it, but again, like I said in the last podcast I have a lot of hot takes, so you might
You're fine.
Put me in check here.
This guy said
what are we on, number 4?
Was his favorite Star Wars movie.
We're on number 4.
Not second favorite.
So, I'm sorry,
Which
second
one?
favorite. You're right.
Last Jedi.
There's the okay. I like Last Jedi to a degree. I like everything up until Canto Bight. But I know, sorry,
that's a different discussion.
We've got it. It's okay. We'll get there.
We'll get there. But we're on number 4. I said Christian Bale to troll just to start off, right?
Yeah.
And then so number 4 for me. So if I'll just start it with Ben Affleck. Yeah.
Okay.
Let them start with Ben Affleck. Yeah.
I've got Diedrich Bader at number 4 from Batman: The Brave and the Bold.
I love that voice.
Wow.
Yeah. He's the hammer of justice is unisex, right?
So booming.
Yeah.
So over the top. Yeah.
It's just good voice.
It's not serious and overwrought, but it's good.
Mm-hmm.
For that take on the character. Yeah.
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 How would you compare it to your your number 5 pick?
That's an interesting question.
Well,
they're not doing the same thing because the number 5 pick is a pretty straightforward version that's not mocking itself, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not serious, but it's not jokey. And this one it understands how ridiculous it's being, right? That's part of the benefit of having someone like Diedrich Bader do the voice. But at the same time, like it operates on 2 levels, which Challenge of the Super Friends doesn't. Like Batman: The Brave and the Bold, parents watching it can be like, ha. Right, like they get it. It's operating at this level that's simultaneously, like ironic and sarcastic, but sincere for the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Right, like, and it's not overly sarcastic for the adults. It's more knowing. It's the adult can look at it and watch it and be like, well, they know what they're doing, right? And they know what they're referencing and the jokes they're making and all of that stuff.
Right.
All right, number 3.
Number 3. See, I'm between 2 at the moment for 2 and 3. So I think. Just out of respect, I'm gonna put Robert Pattinson at number 3. I rewatched The Batman literally 2 days ago. Yeah, I watched it this week. The Penguin, played by Colin Farrell, is amazing. I love when they have him chained up against the pillar, and he's like, "That's the worst fucking Spanish I've ever heard." He's got they just made him so hammy. It's a good movie just in general. It's a great portrayal of Batman. I like that he's not liked by the police. He's not my big criticisms of Nolan's films is how inside the law Batman is. I don't like that there's that moment where the cop's like, "Oh, you're in for a treat, buddy. Like you're gonna see the coolest thing ever." It's like, I mean, he hasn't been around for 5 years. I don't think a lot of people are gonna sit there and be like, "Oh yeah, we need the Batman back." And also, like, you're a cop. You're not supposed to like Batman. Yeah, but there's issues with the Nolan films that I have. But I think his strung out performance was really, really good. It was a guy who was literally on the streets for the last 2 years trying to make sure Gotham doesn't fall apart. And I think Robert Pattinson really, really brought that together. I think, and the movie had enough levity. Like, the dude dropped the clutch on the Batmobile in that movie. Like, he starts it up for the first time. It's supposed to be this big scene, and then he drops it, and the car shuts down. He has to start it up again. Yeah. That's funny. It's pretty funny. It's a good, like... But then also, 5 minutes before that, it shows that he was building the engine himself. Mm-hmm. He's a car guy. He's really smart enough to know how to build an engine.
Well, in the comics and everything, it makes sense. He's a car guy. There's always a new version of the Batmobile.
Yep.
Right? And like
Iron Man suits. He's just got a bunch of them.
Like, yeah. So I do have a question about the Batman. Mm-hmm. Not my favorite Batman movie or portrayal by far. I really didn't care for it personally. How do you feel about the fact that it sure seems like he doesn't actually solve any mysteries in the movie?
So it depends on how you want to
Let me give you a good example.
That.
he has the opportunity to question the mayor's mistress and instead chases off after Catwoman.
Yeah.
The mayor's mistress was alone with nobody else to question her, and he could have like intimidated her, done whatever he needed to do to get the information. Instead, he hairs off after Catwoman, who has nothing to do with his what he's investigating.
Well, she was part of she lived in Maroni's.
But like he's trying to find this other thing out, and she's not.
This is why he's investigating the Riddler, right? He's doing the Riddler mysteries and stuff, right? I mean, he does like. I see what you're saying, and I remember having.
Well, the reason he's there is he's trying to find the mistress. He's not there for Selena Kyle. He's there for the mistress.
Well, sometimes we're thinking with the wrong hits. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm just saying, like, and he also spies on her while she's changing clothes, which is voyeuristic and really gross.
Yeah,
like, unbelievably gross that they put that in a movie.
No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I think that kind of like, I kind of tend to agree a little bit with you there, because when we first started hearing about the Batman, it was supposed to be like film
The
noir.
detective.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, like Saturday night, I haven't slept for days. You know, kind of like, you know, real dark and you know, because honestly, Matt Reeves.
Yeah, we totally got the I haven't slept for days, but not in a good or entertaining way. In the way of like it gives psychotic, not Batman vibes.
Okay.
Right? Anyway.
I don't think he did a bad job. For what he was given in his role in year 2 it was?
Right, it's year 2.
Yeah,
He's
year
2
2. Yeah, so I think it was good. And once he grows facial hair and has to shave to put on the thing, I think we'll be good. And, you know, we'll have a good Bruce Wayne. And, you know.
I like that he's letting Wayne Enterprise fall apart for his crusade.
Yeah.
And I think they're, and you know, with the consistency that you're talking about, where it's like, that doesn't overly make sense.
Batman. That's part of the problem.
How do you write that in such a way, and how does he keep his fortune if he's going to let the thing that's made him so wealthy fall apart? So don't get me wrong, I understand the kind of criticism, but at the same time,
if you want to do that kind of deconstruction and you're rewriting the character, why do Batman? Why not do something else?
Who would you do instead? Who would
an original character you could, right?
Well,
like
Can you
Superman, for example, is a reworking of the John Carter of Mars.
Oh, we're talking about John Carter again?
Well, I mean, it is. It absolutely is. 100%. Like John Carter of Mars is, okay, so the setup is he's a Confederate soldier after the war who is out west trying to like make a new life for himself and winds up in this cave because he wants to like find some gold, right? And he heard rumors that there was this cave that the local Native Americans had was supposed to have gold in it. He goes out there, no gold, but there's a gas that rises up from the floor and he passes out unconscious. Wakes up in the middle of a red landscape, like desert, and gets picked up by green Martians. And what he finds out is, on this planet, it's not as big as Earth, so he's way stronger, right? So his body's grown accustomed to Earth gravity, but on Mars, there's less gravity, and so he can, like, leap half a mile. Like, the description of what Superman can do in the Golden Age is John Carter.
Yeah.
Right?
Faster than a speeding bullet, jump over it, single bound, faster than a locomotive.
Yeah, it's just that instead of going to Mars, he came to Earth.
Okay. So he had the Dragon Ball training where he put on the heavy thing and then eventually came to a place where there's less weight.
Right.
Nice. Okay.
And then it's just, power creep over time. They just add stuff onto him, especially the Silver Age. You want to talk about versions of Superman that would win in a fight? Pretty much, hands down, Silver Age Superman would win in a fight against almost any other version of Superman. Like, literally, in the comics, they say at least once, he has to be careful about sneezing because he could destroy the solar system. Yeah. So,
and that's
out of hand.
And that's why people, honestly, I think that's making comments like that about a character really this is where we get the idea that Superman isn't interesting. People now no longer, well, I don't think now. I mean, I think we're going to get some decent, My Adventures with Superman, if y'all have seen that. Very good. Very, very, very good Superman deconstruction. And I think people need things like that, and they're not willing to watch Smallville anymore because it's 10 seasons and there's 22 episodes a season. That's a lot of time to dedicate to a TV show.
And it drags in spots.
It's got some filler, but no, I disagree.
Smallville?
Oh,
it's an incredible TV show.
Completely holds up. And when CW takes it over in season 7 or 8, I think it was season 7. That's the season that Supergirl comes in. It's like her story arc.
Yeah, we're in season 8.
Oh my gosh. It started getting so good, and then season 8 with Doomsday, like that whole thing. Yeah. I was reeled in.
I was a Superman hater until I started watching Smallville. I was one of those guys I was just talking about that misinterpreted Superman, didn't understand him, thought he was basically like Homelander. Like he could be if he wanted to be, but he chooses not to be. Not exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like people misinterpret him as the Injustice Superman rather than
the whole power
Superman.
corrupts, absolute power,
Right.
yada yada yada.
Everyone thinks, and Zack Snyder even looked that way, and it's frustrating.
It's not true.
It's not how it would go because Smallville explains that perfectly.
Yeah. It does do a good job of showing the upbringing and how that would affect him.
Right.
Like, they've done some studies in the last several years, and when it comes to that sort of thing, you can make people act more paranoid and more willing to cut other people off and hurt them by scaring them. And for a long time, scientists couldn't figure out how to get the opposite reaction or what they could test. What they came upon was telling people, well, okay, so we're going to sit you down. We're going to run you through this battery of tests and see your responses to it, right? And then they run them through an exercise. We need you to visualize that you're Superman. We need you to visualize that you cannot be hurt. You are infinitely strong and you don't need anything, okay? You have everything you need. You're able to do anything. And then they run through the same tests, and lo and behold, people become more generous, more willing to help others, more willing to extend themselves. Once
It's a scarcity mindset over a compensated or a well taken care of mindset.
Yeah. And so I just find that interesting about the character because, like, he comes from a place of, you don't have anything I need, but I have everything I need and more. And so, yeah. Well, so I'm trying to remember if it was Grant Morrison or Alan Moore who said, basically, the thing about Superman is he has all the same problems that normal people have. It's just the scale is different. You know, Superman still has to walk his dog. It's just his dog has to go out past the rings of Saturn and back to get the exercise he needs.
Gotta love crypto. I love crypto.
Yeah. He has like people who don't like him at work. Well, the problem is at work means Lex Luthor, and he's got a giant robot that can flatten the city as opposed to just, making snide comments at you when you walk past his desk, right?
And he's got relationship issues just like all of us do, It's just, he's having trouble deciding, do I date Lois Lane, Lana Lang, or, here's a deep cut, Lori Lamaris.
Still with the LL.
Oh, yeah. It's weird. It is weird.
I love that.
Yeah, Lori Lamaris, an Atlantean mermaid.
Huh.
Yes, from the Silver Age. Haven't seen her show up lately. Not any more than Terra Man has.
Come on, James Gunn. Bring him.
Dude, bringing Terra Man in would be amazing.
I was talking about
He was a cowboy. He was a cowboy.
Those are my favorite
supervillain.
archetypes, by the way.
A future cowboy.
Yeah, it's
from the future to the past who fought Superman on the regular.
Why do you think I have 800 hours in Fallout New Vegas? I love cowboy stuff.
Oh my God.
I could
like
just be a
quasi
cowboy.
weird broken cowboy stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Where were we at? You said number 3?
Yeah, we're on number
your
2
turn.
and 1 now.
You're up for
Number
number
3.
Yeah.
This is going to go back to my first experience of Batman in the late 80s, early 90s, and it is the Adam West. I got a VHS of the Batman 1966 movie, I believe it was.
Oh my God. That movie is so much fun.
Oh my gosh.
Did you run with the bomb?
Running around with a bomb, but also bat shark repellent.
Yeah, or it's holy rusted metal Batman.
Yeah.
You know? What? Yeah. I mean, every bit of it, and seeing the villains, which all did a great job. Mm-hmm. I think I have still on my toy collection, I have an entire panel of a wall for my 1966 Batman 6-inch action figures that they they came out in about 2012.
McFarlane Toys, is that it?
No, it was before that. It was,
okay.
So I think it was probably right in between the Mattel and Hasbro switch. Mm. And then, McFarlane took it from Hasbro and kind of made it to what it is now.
Do they have all Batman toy rights, essentially? Like, I know there's, like, Mezco and stuff, like other people. Like, does McFarlane have, like, I feel like all of the DC multiverse
I think DC does
is that
their
licensed
own
out?
stuff through DC Direct, too.
Yeah, DC Direct still does a lot of, the adult collectibles.
Okay.
And but...
Which I'm counting the Superpowers line as adult collectibles because otherwise I will feel bad.
Oh, yeah.
Hey man. Hey man, I bought a Transformer the other day. Don't feel bad. I got a Transformer. It's like it looks like a classic Optimus Prime from the it's the Ultimates line, and he looks like he's from that original Transformers movie.
Yeah.
He comes with he has the I can't. Why am I whenever I'm on this podcast, I can't remember names, but he's got the thing that gets taken out of his chest when he dies.
Oh my gosh!
Right? The Omnispark. Yep, that's another thing.
No, I can't.
I can't. It's got a something of something. But it's got that with it, and it looks so classic. Oh man, I wouldn't feel bad about buying stuff like that. Like it's the coolest stuff ever. Is when it looks like what you used to enjoy. You know?
Yeah. No, it's important to stay in touch with who you were as a kid.
Oh, absolutely. Right. I mean, we're in the licensed pop culture industry. I mean, get to wear the properties instead of play with them.
Yeah.
Well, there's something important about just being able to remember that perspective, though.
Yeah.
My number 3
What
is Michael Keaton.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm good. Right in the middle. Look good. Like, a lot of it's good. More of it's because Michael Keaton's awesome.
Yep.
Than because it's an accurate Batman, I think.
I've always thought that too.
Yeah.
You want to get nuts,
kills
let's get
a
nuts.
lot of people. He kills so many people in those 2 movies.
Oh, my favorite is in Returns when he just kicks the dude in the hole and then throws a bomb in there and just walks away and he comes. That's my favorite. That's my favorite Keaton kill.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even just the color palette of both movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm referring to Batman and Batman Returns, not.
Well, then the production design by Anton Furst. So good.
Everything like the tone, I
mean, Gotham as it is considered now, it comes from that.
Yeah.
Like, it changed how people thought about it and started rendering it and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, before that, it was more, it might be dark and whatnot, but it's a city. It's a modern city with, like, the straight lines and the boring facades and everything. And now it's, like, all Gothic architecture and shadows everywhere. And
I will say, that is probably my number 1 Alfred.
that's fair.
I think
Because he's hilarious.
It's great.
He's good Alfred.
Yeah.
He was great Alfred.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, and I do like the 66 show. And of all the things I like about it, Alfred's not really high on the list. He's okay, but he's like Alfred in the comics. We haven't got really a good comics accurate Alfred because, yes, he's former SAS, but he is a butler. Like, yeah, he's former SAS, but it's not like the Jeremy Irons version from Batman versus Superman.
He's basically the guy in the chair for that Batman.
Yeah.
Did you watch Gotham?
I was about to bring up Gotham. Yeah.
I have not watched Gotham.
Oh, bro.
It's really not that bad.
Bro.
Yeah?
People, so when
That's not a good way to endorse it. It's not that bad.
Well, so here's the thing. Here's the thing. I immediately assumed, and I shouldn't have done this, that you were coming from the perspective, because anytime I bring up that show with people, they always think about when the show was coming out. Was it 2018? Season 1 was like 2018?
Something. It was crazy.
It was close. It was recent, but it wasn't that recent.
Gotham?
Yeah.
Came out
Or am I
2012?
Oh, was it 2012?
2013?
What am I thinking of? I'm thinking of Titans. Ugh, never mind. I'm not bringing up Titans.
You can't dog on Titans either.
Titans has its moments.
Talk about a good Batman, and he's not even on my list. I forgot that.
I do like his Bruce
dude
Wayne.
from Game of Thrones. Yeah, what's his name?
Mormon. I call it.
Geez.
Yeah, that's.
If you asked me an hour ago, I remembered it.
No, but you gotta watch it. Okay. I think it's kind of cool.
It does have Hamlet. So my biggest issue with Titans is now that The Boys is out, it's like we've gotten really, really good dark comic book content that is, when DC tries to do it, always just comes across as like weird. I don't know. I don't want DC to do dark Zack Snyder shit anymore. I'm really done with dark, unless it's coming, like literally unless it's coming from The Boys and it's like literally satirical of the comic book industry. I want comics to be happy and moving forward.
I don't necessarily want brainless, but yeah, I'm tired of.
I don't know, man, because for me is that with Titans, it's almost like y'all like The Boys. Yeah. I'm not that big into The Boys. I've watched maybe a couple episodes of it, but they talk about how like quote unquote real it could be, of like heroes
for some notions of what real means.
Right. Here on Titans, there's like actual stakes on it. Like there's actual like pain behind the punches. Mm-hmm. There's actual like stakes when like people like there's death in it, like with main characters. Like there's like great stuff that's happening. So I used to always call it like real boots on the ground type fighting shit. You know, like they're actually like sitting there fighting. They're having to wear armor that's actually going to help save their life.
One of the things
And
I thought
it's-
was weird is
it's cool.
the way they retcon some of it. Like Hawk and Dove have superpowers in the comics. They have superpowers.
I like them not having superpowers though. It's cool in the show. They
But,
like,
like,
they're just kicking ass.
That's
as
most of the
dudes.
team then is people without powers. And on top of that, like
They're
and
more
they,
like me
they
then.
screwed up Changeling's powers. Beast Boy, like
Oh my god!
yeah,
Well, he can only turn into a tiger. That's all
Yeah.
I've seen so far. I've always assumed that they're going to make him be able to turn into more things later, but
Yeah, I'm
Well,
gonna
and
watch
then
it.
they didn't get the Cyborg wasn't on the team. which
that's a
was
bummer.
Weird.
And
Well, he's
thing
over
is-
on Doom Patrol, right?
I know, yeah, and which
wasn't-
is funny because that's where Beast Boy started at. They swapped him for some reason. And
Oh, I thought Cyborg not being in Titans was because Cyborg they already had plans for him to be in Justice League.
no, but they went ahead and put him on Doom Patrol.
The TV show? He's in
Yeah,
the, he's
yeah,
in the Doom
he's
Patrol
in
show.
Doom
I've been thinking
Patrol.
about watching it with the guy
It's
from The Walking Dead. on
Awesome.
Yeah.
it. I did like
It's
their
funny.
little. They had an episode in Titans.
Oh man.
Beast Boys hanging out with
Yeah, they're
with
tied
Raven
in.
and yeah,
Yeah.
and they're hanging out with the Doom Patrol and for some reason like I've never read any of their comics but I like clocked it immediately. I was like, oh shit, this is the Doom Patrol. Like I was like, I know what this
Yeah.
is, and so like I do need to watch the TV show.
Yeah, the Doom,
I've heard it's
Doom
good.
Patrol, the group that was ripped off to make the X-Men. I said it.
Yeah,
That's right.
You know what? You're the second person to tell
Yeah.
me that this week. I'm not kidding. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I know we're talking about Batman, but
That's fine.
the Bat family.
Mhm.
I am a very big fan of each and
That is
every
completely
member of the
fair.
Bat
I'm
family.
a big Nightwing fan.
Okay,
I've been a
Grayson.
Nightwing
Yeah.
fan for
Yeah.
a very long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what like actually re-sparked. I think I talked about it last podcast I was in.
Mm-hmm.
It was a Nightwing figure that my wife gave me. It completely reignited my love for action figures and toys, and that's why my room looks the way it is.
Like
Interesting.
Nightwing's outfit was completely goofy until
disco
Brian
outfit?
Stelfreeze redesigned it in the 90s. Yes.
The disco outfit? It was
Yeah,
great.
with all the fringe.
Yeah. He looked like
Yeah.
well, he kind of looked like a trapeze, you know, like
Yeah.
kind of
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
kind of had that outfit, the Flying Graysons type deal.
Yeah.
Through an Elvis filter.
You know, and I've always kind of been like that. Like even like reading old Batman comics in the early 90s, like I always kind of veered towards, you know, the Robins and, you know,
Mhm.
I mean,
How do you feel about Jarro?
Jarro?
Oh, damn. Okay, so in the comics,
What
are you
year?
familiar with Starro the Conqueror?
Yes, of course,
Okay.
Starro.
Okay, Jarro is one of Starro's little, like, cast-off, like, starfish things.
Yeah.
That has its own mind and its own will and became a Robin in the comics.
Which
And this
comics
is not
are this?
this is not Silver Age. This is
Okay.
just a few years ago.
Oh no, I kind of once after New 52 when I think I went to like Rebirth or something like that, I kind of fell off.
Okay.
It's been a minute since I've read,
Okay.
which, you know, it's because I got too involved in like certain graphic novels because I was doing the whole Wednesday thing and then finally I was like, I'm just going to wait until I get volume. And then I kind of, you know, fell
Well, it's
off.
the big two have a problem with that. They keep doing it, like where people will get into it and they'll be like, yeah, we're gonna etch a sketch this,
Yeah.
shake it up, and start over. And you're in the middle of something, and you're like,
Yeah.
for me, it was in the '90s. I was in the middle of this big Green Lantern story arc that was, off in space. Some conspiracy or something was happening, and then I come in the middle of this storyline, and there's a new issue that has Hal Jordan with like a bunch of rings on his fingers and grinning like a maniac. And
I'm sure about.
and it's like, we're just going to ignore this other stuff, and he's crazy now. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So you've been reading comics for a while.
Yeah. Well, I fell off then, and I got back in with the New 52, and that was dicey because I felt like the quality was up and down with that. And then I tried to stick with Rebirth for a little bit, but I fell off again.
So if you're big in the 90s and
That's when I was in high school and reading a lot.
okay, so I need to know right now, were you part of the group that voted to kill off Jason Todd?
That was the 80s.
80s, sorry.
I was a little kid when that happened, and my mother would not let me do it because it was 1-900 number.
Yeah.
And I did not vote. Apparently, that happened because a dude set up a robocall to do it and automated it, and that's why Jason Todd died.
Man. Really?
I love the Red Hood.
I was actually going to bring him up.
That is a big lemonade out of lemons thing, right?
Yeah.
So good. The Red Hood is awesome.
I
The story
love
they tell
the
with
Red
it
Hood,
is
yeah.
incredible. Speaking of which, how do you think they did that in Titans? Kenny, don't watch this part of the episode. You haven't gotten to this part of the season yet.
I hated Jason
he
Todd
was
on Titans. I hated him on Titans so much. Okay.
You did?
Oh my god, I did.
So, he kind of, that's probably
Unlikable
why
at all.
you would have voted him out, right? If that was
But,
the
like,
case, then it's probably the same. I
You
feel like
gotta
it's
have a reason to root for him at least a little, right? Like if you just have him be a brat the whole time, no one. Of course, people aren't going to want him around.
Isn't that why they voted to kill him, though? Besides the guy who
They
changed the
hated
system?
him.
Besides the guy
people
who, like,
hated Jason Todd. back
Some
then,
people
though.
hated
That
Jason
was
Todd,
the,
sure.
That was okay. All right. Well, I wasn't
We
alive.
don't know what would have happened because a guy rigged it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I don't mind it, but when I first heard these topics today, I thought of top 5 Batman performances, and so I didn't know we were just talking about Batman. But I'm going to give some props to Jensen Ackles.
Ian Glenn. Sorry.
Huh? What?
The guy who plays Batman in Titans. My brain just went, by the way, you guys have moved on. Mike's talking. It's Ian Glenn.
Oh, that's the.
Anyway, he plays Jason Todd in Under the Red Hood, and he did
the
a
animated?
great the animation. the
Jensen
animated.
Ackles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
from
He did?
Supernatural.
Yes,
yeah,
he did.
Oh, that's super
Yeah,
cool. I didn't
and
know
what's
that.
really dope is that on his in one of the Supernatural episodes, they go into a comic book store, and in the background is like a live action Red Hood like outfit. And like that weekend that went, he did an entire photo shoot with it on his Instagram. It was dope.
That's
Dude. I was
awesome.
like, oh, dude,
There were
are we getting a
rumors.
live action?
Yeah,
I was
right?
like, are we getting a live action Jensen like Red Hood?
I take it.
I mean, there
man,
were
I
rumors he was going to be Batman for a while.
Yeah, I think I was reading some of the stuff, and I think he's actually voiced Batman in some things.
That sounds right. I can't remember where, though.
I think the Suicide Squad.
Did he?
Game
animation.
or movie, or no, the
Animation,
game
maybe?
was still.
The game didn't come out till this
Conroy.
year, so
It was Kevin Conroy that was his last
Yeah, it
performance,
did.
which is
Well,
sad.
well, so come to find out, they've got another thing coming out.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be his last, fortunately.
No, they've probably got a ton of stuff in the can they can reuse if they want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where did we leave off?
So number
You-
two.
Yeah, number
Because
2.
you said number 3.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton.
My number 2, because we
Yeah,
started with
yeah,
so my
yeah.
number 2 is Michael Keaton. So I mean, like
Okay.
I didn't think my number 2 would be
well, we don't have to reinterrogate that.
right. No, I was honestly trying to find a way to like worm it in so he wouldn't have to come to me again about it. I was like, oh,
Well,
what did
so why is it at number 2 on your list?
Which one?
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton.
Okay, so I mean, like I said, I grew up with Forever, but that doesn't change the fact that my mom sat me down in front of Batman 1989 and like beamed it into my brain 100 times. So like, of course I love Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
He's not allowed to take number 1 because I have a very, very, very other special place in my heart for who my actual number 1 is.
Okay, all right.
But I mean, we've got another 2 people.
Is it Olin Soul?
Yes.
Okay.
It is.
Yeah, fair.
I think I'm at Michael Keaton too for number 2. I don't think I've said that yet. So I think that's where I'm at, and we've already kind of.
My number 2, we don't need
Yeah,
to
yeah.
discuss this any further, is Adam West. So,
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So, real quick, while we've got Adam West brought up, so there's a scene in Titans where Ian Glenn, is that you said his
Yes,
name is?
Ian Glenn.
He's dancing. And I was playing like Helldivers or something, and I went to go grab something from out of the living room. My wife was asleep watching the show, and I noticed there's this big dance scene. And they give him this one move where he does the he does the Adam West classic, and I was just like, you know what? Maybe this show does have more juice to it than I thought.
That's
It's
fair.
got some funny, got some good references, got some people you can tell who wrote it do care. And I'm not gonna get on Titans. I do like it, but I'm gonna always kind of look at it kind of side eyed, just because I'm done. Like I said, I'm done with dark DC stuff. You know.
yeah, fair.
But so yeah,
I
so
almost feel like we should say number 1 at the same time because I have a feeling.
yeah.
Yeah. Ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Kevin Conroy.
Right?
I mean,
Who else
That was
could
so
it be?
staged.
pre-watch.
What's hilarious? Yeah. Anyway, like this was last second.
No, yeah. I mean,
So why Kevin Conroy?
when I read a comic book that has Batman in it, it's his
I
voice.
hear Kevin Conroy's voice,
And
yeah.
so I mean, like, and I could, I have watched so much of the animated series. I've played through the Arkham games 100 different times. I've watched enough of the animated movies. Mask of the Phantasm was actually going to make it into my top 5 movies if we had brought up just like general
fair.
movies. Mask of the Phantasm, the animated Batman movie, is incredible. It's so good. I think it does very good. I think the entire show in general has some of the best displays of Batman villains. I think, obviously, top being the Joker.
I think the
Mark
DC
Hamill.
animated universe in general does an excellent job distilling down all of the characters that they deal with and giving us really good, clean versions of like villains and heroes and stuff like that.
Yeah, there are some doozies. I think like Flashpoint. Flashpoint has some issues. It's also
that's the like anime version. I'm talking about the Timverse.
you're talking about that just the Tim Brew. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I'm talking about like the entirety of the DC animated genre library.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
No, but yeah, no, Bruce Timm's art and like all of his ways, all the way the show's like produced and everything like that. And like, I will say that there's like, as a kid, I didn't really like how he changed how everything looked in that second iteration of the show, The New Adventures, I think is what it's called.
Right.
When Nightwing and Batgirl are there and stuff. I didn't like how like Scarecrow. I thought I liked the Scarecrow's original version where he looks like a Scarecrow.
Yeah.
But I realized they're going for something a little scarier in that New
But
Adventures.
also, you notice that all of the designs are simplified because they had 2 shows to produce instead of 1.
Yeah.
So they needed to be able to do it faster.
Because that Batman also had to be on Justice League.
That was later.
No, okay.
Yeah. No, the New Adventures of Batman or the Further Adventures, or whatever they called it when they did the redesign, and then the Adventures of Superman were at the same time.
Oh,
And
that was
late
okay.
90s.
Okay.
And
Yes.
then Justice League was later.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I actually, speaking of that Superman show, I was watching them. It's all on HBO, so I was watching it the other day. It's just so good. It's classic.
What about the N64 video game?
Now? I've beaten it 8 times.
Oh, props to you, man, because I couldn't get through it once.
Did you know there was an Aquaman game on the Xbox?
Really?
I played the one that was on the GameCube. I think that's the same generation. So it's
the one on the Xbox was terrible.
Oh, the one on the GameCube was terrible too. Yeah, so we might play the same game.
Well, probably. Like you just swim around and then it stops and the controls completely change and it's a fighting game.
Yep. Yeah, we did play the same game. It's terrible.
Awful.
It was awful. And the cutscenes they weren't even voiced. They were comic panels that someone like hand drew terribly, and then like the letters would appear, and then you're like, as like a 7-year-old just playing this game is like, skip.
Yes.
I don't care.
A 7-year-old.
Yeah.
I was not an adult.
You were definitely
Absolutely not.
I think with Kevin Conroy, you fast forward until the Arkham game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, that was my Batman. When I was a kid, that was like prime time. I was like 5 years old when it came out. So I was like, that was me going to Toys R Us and picking up your 3.5-inch Batman action figure, your Batmobile, like all that shit. That's my fucking Batman.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then we get to the Arkham, and then I kind of just grow up and get into the movies as much as I can and still read some comic books as much as I can and kind of forget. You never really respected the art, right, of voice acting.
But the fact that you can tell it's the same person, but a difference between Batman and Bruce Wayne.
Yep.
Just by how he presents
I love
his voice.
that. I love that so much. He goes from like how we're talking right now, and then he's Batman. He goes down to a deeper voice, and he didn't change too much. He just changes his
The timbre.
Timbre.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's similar to the way that Christopher Reeve was able to do the transformation on camera from Clark Kent into Superman.
Yes.
There were so many good foils to his Batman too. Like there was so many good characters that provided so many great moments too that kind of gave that support that Batman kind of needs.
Yes. His rogues gallery is very important.
Very important.
Yes.
Something that's interesting about DC rogues galleries compared to a lot of Marvel rogues galleries is DC rogues galleries tend to be more thematically tied to the characters, right? Not 100%, right? Like, of course, Captain America has a bunch of like Nazis and people related to like patriotism and stuff, but like Batman's characters are all versions of him that could have like gone wrong or that are missing something he has. Like the Penguin is essentially an aristocrat, except he's a crook, right? He's like Batman, but broken in a way. There's that. Another one would be like the Scarecrow. Batman uses fear. Batman has an understanding of psychology that he employs and, doing what he does, so on and so forth, right? Riddler is clever and it creates puzzles and uses them to confound people as opposed to untangling them, right? Parallels there. You can go so far as at some point in the comics, the Riddler becomes a detective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how actually, so in Gotham, the Riddler starts as a detective and then goes into his villain arc.
Yeah, he's a crime scene investigator, right?
Yes.
Like something like that, like
He's my favorite
blood
part of the
splatter
show.
analyst or something
Yeah,
like
he's
that.
specific. He had a very specific role that he did for that.
Something,
For
I forgot
Gotham.
what it was.
And he is really good. He was in it's the guy from Criminal Minds.
Yeah.
It's the nerdy guy from Criminal Minds.
I don't watch Criminal.
Oh, okay, never mind. I wish I could.
You really need to watch Gotham. It's fun. It's a fun watch. Yeah,
it's Gotham before Batman becomes Batman.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
little kid.
yeah. So episode 1 is Crime Alley.
Okay.
It starts with Crime Alley and then like how Gotham reacts to the Waynes being killed and what all that turns into. There is following Bruce. And then the guy who plays Alfred's really good.
Yeah, he's good.
We were talking about
Alfred.
him earlier.
Yeah, well, because he's like that SAS kind of.
He is-
That's why I brought that up, is because he is like,
Yeah.
You know.
Hard-nosed,
Yeah.
former special
and
forces.
very much a butler,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but also kind of a dad.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, that is Sean Pertwee, right? His father
Remember.
was John Pertwee, who was the second or third Doctor Who.
Oh, really?
I didn't know that.
Oh, I could see that.
Right?
Yeah, I can actually see that.
Yes,
yeah.
I too. I was going to ask you about
Real
how
myself.
what is Batman and the Joker's relationship compared to Batman's relationship with the rest of his rogues gallery. You're saying they are a version of Batman that went awry.
Mhm.
What version? So what is the Joker compared to?
That is an excellent question because it's really difficult to say because the Joker is complete chaos.
Right.
Right? Like, we're not even sure about his background. A lot of it that we have in the comics comes from basically the Killing Joke, but that's like not exactly canon.
Right. Yeah. Alan
Yeah.
Moore said that it's supposed to be a very ambiguous story.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, like, how much of that
Ambiguous,
is
that's a good word for it.
legit? How much of it is not? I would have to put more thought into that. Right?
Mhm.
Off the top of my head, though, I would say that the Joker bears a strong resemblance to Batman in that he is very caught up in the trappings of what he's doing. He uses jokes, gags, he's themed, but there's no organizing principle behind it in the same way that there is for Batman. Like, Batman has a theme, Batman has something he's trying to do, and there's an organizing principle behind it, whereas the Joker is just chaos in whatever he feels like doing at the time. Like, when he kills Jason Todd in the comics, there's not a plan. He's not thinking ahead. He just is like, oh, I've got an opportunity. He then beats him with a crowbar and then goes, oh, Batman's going to kick my ass over this. Oh, shit. Right? Like, there you go.
All right.
Yeah.
Would you say Batman is order though? So do you think he stands
So
for order?
it depends on,
as a masked
on
vigilante?
which version of Batman you're talking about. So, like, the Batman we get, there are a couple of versions. The best Batman in the sense that the super ego version, the one that is like, if we were going to have a Batman that was fully rounded and properly idealized, it would be this, as opposed to the one that we've been getting for like 20 years. What we've been getting for 20 years in most forms of media, most, not all, is hyper-violent, focused on beating people to a pulp.
The idea that there's a lot of people who, while
That
like
is
Superman,
fascist.
have the that is. I think there's a misinterpretation of Batman that he is a fascist, cop-loving, beats poor and mentally ill people,
Yes.
puts them in hospitals.
And because in a lot of versions of Batman that we get that are, you know, the big, splashy, expensive versions, that's the version we're getting, right? And if you want to criticize it, what you have is that Batman is about reinforcing the social order.
Yes.
Social order was upended when he was a child, when someone who didn't have money killed his parents. And so he has been spending the rest of his life putting the social order back where it's supposed to be and taking people who are desperate for whatever reason and acting out to try and, you know, help themselves, you know, and pushing them back where they're supposed to go. That is the version we've been getting, not the Batman that, like, is there in the best versions of the material, right? Like, the animated series is almost always the best version of the character, right?
Yes. He's always trying to see. He doesn't kill the Joker not because like he doesn't have the I don't kill rule. He kills the Joker because he sees what the Joker could potentially be as a human being.
Also,
And then-
the Joker's mentally ill,
Right.
right? Like, you don't kill someone who is, like, that far out of control. They are not in their right mind. They're not doing it on purpose. They're sick.
Then you'd have the people who would argue with, like, they would say, you know, how many times do we let him poison the water, the Gotham River before we just execute? You know, you have those people who would say that.
Yeah.
Batman should have killed him a long time ago because it would have saved people a long time ago.
Cool. If you want to poke holes in Batman, I'm actually way more concerned about chain of evidence.
Because he's like always
Like that, none of that will stand up in court, man. Like there's no chain of custody. None of this can be proven to be legit.
Yeah.
All of it could just be made up by some weirdo in a rubber bat suit.
right. What do the cops do with a guy who he just dropped off at the doorstep?
Right? Exactly. Like, well, what are we? Okay.
There's no due process there.
No.
Right.
Like how?
So it's not
Cool. Okay, we're gonna cut you loose again. Just wait till he's gone. Okay. Yeah. Here's a lawyer. He handles most of these cases for you guys. We can't put you in jail. We can't process you, dude. You got Miranda rights. What?
Right.
What the hell?
Right. Did Batman say these things to you while he was arresting you? Probably not.
No. Is Batman an officer of the court? No, he is not.
It depends on the Batman.
It does depend on the Batman.
Was
Yes.
it Adam West deputized?
Yes,
He's
he was. He was a
Batman.
deputized member of the police force.
Yep.
But that means something different, though, right? If he's handling it and he's a deputy of court or whatever, then yes, if he's following proper procedures,
Then yeah.
yeah, which theoretically he would be, because he would reach into his utility belt and go, "Here is my bat evidence bag."
Here's my bat badge.
Yep.
My bat.
That brings me to the second topic we were going to discuss, which is which Batman would win in a fight. I think Adam West, hands down.
Actually, you're not. You're not the first person to tell me that. That's so funny. I can't make the argument that I've heard, but I know you're not the first person to tell me that.
Well,
That's so
okay.
funny.
It was fight to the death, though, right? Battle Royale.
But he wouldn't kill him.
Battle Royale.
Yeah, but he wouldn't kill him.
It'd be a
He'd
mercy.
win. They'd be
Adam West would
immobilized.
live because it'd be a mercy.
So, like, it would be, first off, if Christian Bale comes at him, right?
Say uncle.
He would reach into his belt and pull out a thing of Banaka.
Yeah.
And, like, here. First off, chum, is your voice better? Oh, that's good.
No, it's not.
But he'd have, like, an anti-Christian Bale spray or, like, something in his belt that it would just deal with it.
Him in the animated series having just a reasonable discussion.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
like,
No, it would be...
maybe we shouldn't fight.
No, they wouldn't. They'd be like, they'd stop and they'd start talking, and then, they'd keep talking, and it would, yeah. It's like most of the time when it's like, who would win in a fight between Superman and whatever? Well, Superman would not fight a lot of these people that you're saying who would win. He would talk to them first.
Right.
And if they had a problem that could be fixed or solved, he just would. Like a lot of Batman's villains would not be Superman villains because Superman would just fix the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Nora Freeze, Mr. Freeze's wife. Oh, she's got some horrible disease. Can I get a sample? And then you would go to the Fortress of Solitude and use Kryptonian technology to fix it.
Yes. But that's the thing. Like when you start saying things like that, it's the same thing as why did the Avengers help Spider-Man in this movie? It's like, well, we don't have a story if we do that.
Well, yes, ultimately, right? That's like the whole Stan Lee thing where it's like, who would win in a fight? Well, whoever the writer decides. It's like, well, okay.
Well, whoever's contract says they have to
Dad. Yes, you're right. Technically, we're nerds, so that's the correct kind of right, but still.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, like when you start with us poking holes in Batman, you could say things like literally just bring in Superman from across the river and have him fix all Batman's problems. I also saw someone with a similar take where Spider-Man and Batman should flip villains and they would have no issues at all anymore. Like Batman should fight Green Goblin, he'd take down Green Goblin easily.
Oh my God.
Spider-Man should fight Bane, he would have no problem with Bane.
Spider-Man versus Bane would be hilarious.
It'd be awesome.
Bane would
awesome.
throw one of those juiced up punches, and Spider-Man would pretend to get hit to be like, "Oh, good shot, buddy."
Yeah, exactly.
That really hurt.
Yeah.
God, no.
You don't one of the things that I don't think any of the villains have. Well, I guess you with the Bat family, they've tried. Nightwing Nightwing and Jason Todd, obviously he's a dick too, but like they all try to quip as well, but like no one can quip like Spider-Man. Imagine like someone getting underneath Joker's skin
and just really get it, like nettles just under the skin, just like
Deadpool and Joker.
Oh my God. That'd be over quick.
Would Joker enjoy that or hate it? Because he would kill him, and then Deadpool would get up, and Joker would be like, wait,
right.
What? Would it be, I get to kill you as often as I want, or would it be, why won't you stay dead? I think it would be, why won't you stay dead?
It's the worst punchline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the one that he doesn't get to tell.
Right.
Yeah.
Deadpool would always have, that's a good point. Deadpool would always have that final punchline. It's like, yeah, I'm back, bitch.
So do you think that Batman would actually show up to the Battle Royale? Because every Batman story, like, because I'm a Bat Family guy, you know? So, like, every story arc that I watch or read or you know, indulge in, he's MIA. You know what I mean? Like, Batman's off. He hasn't been seen or whatever. So to me, I'm like, is he even going to show up to a Battle Royale?
Well, I mean, if we want to go into the trouble of setting up the Battle Royale.
Right, we opened up the multiverse portals. They all came through.
There we go.
The Joker's the one
Throw in the
who's like,
multiverse.
Right.
Yeah.
On your left.
I've got hostages, Batman. You know.
Now there's 5 of them coming at him.
Yeah.
All this talk about Batman made me realize that I need to brush it. I need to get refreshed because it's been a minute.
Yeah. Last bit I read was New 52.
It's been a minute.
Who would you guys pick in a Batman Battle Royale?
I think I'm just going to go with my personal favorite and say that the animated series Batman would have won.
Well, that's fair. That's fair.
Like, because and honestly, like I've never seen that guy lose.
Also, he's two-dimensional. He turns sideways, he's gone.
That's true.
I'd say Damian Wayne.
Okay.
Yeah.
He is
In a battle royale, true battle royale, I think Damian Wayne.
Because, you know, he would keep going at Adam West. Even if he's like incapacitated on the ground.
Yeah, he's still going.
You know, Batman uses some weird technique that like Damian Wayne's never seen, and it doesn't matter. He'd be hopping along the ground with like his shoulder dislocated, like, I'm gonna.
Talk about a gnarly bat suit that was. Did you read that? The Son of Batman story arc? Did you read it? Damian Wayne was like Batman. I mean, he had like spikes on the glove. Like, it was brutal.
nice.
Damian would do that.
Yeah,
Damian would do that.
It was brutal.
What did you think of the New 52 Batman? I liked the House of Val, the Court of Owls.
Court of Owls.
I like the Court of Owls.
That is
was
like
a cool
maybe
arc.
the best addition, not counting Damian, to the Batman canon in the last 20 years, I thought.
And honestly, I agree with you because I mean, it was a new villain. Like we've seen,
And an
Joker
awesome villain.
Yes, and an almost unbeatable, like a clandestine society of rich people that are secretly running Gotham from the shadows.
Because that makes the villain Gotham.
Right, which is Batman's entire point of existing is to save it.
Why do I always think of Eyes Wide Shut about the Court of Owls?
Because that's apt. That is absolutely correct. You are not wrong.
Every time I'm like,
I would be lying if I said that never occurred to me. Yeah.
That I actually New 52 wasn't bad. I liked New 52. To me, it still had that detective Batman, like very
fair.
much detective Batman.
I like how Batman was drawn in that. By the way, like one of the things that I really like is his suit is really cool, but also like his presence in the comic books, especially in those first few issues with the Court of Owls. There's like a shot I remember like being so impressed by of him literally just sitting there in his cowl.
That was Lee, right?
I believe
That one was Lee.
no, it wasn't.
That wasn't Capullo.
It was Capullo.
It was Capullo.
Because he draws all of his faces the same.
It was.
Everyone's face in those comics is the same, like square, like. And granted, I will say one of those arcs ended up kind of using that to their advantage. There's a Hush-esque arc in the New 52 where some guy portrays himself as Bruce Wayne. But like, so they ended up making that arc kind of working towards like, oh, well, of course they all look the same because that was the whole point.
Capullo got warped a little bit when he went to work for McFarlane because he drew differently in the 90s. Much, much more precise and like, geometric's the wrong word, but I've seen his work from that period. And then he goes and he has to at least somewhat mimic McFarlane's style for years, and then it just changed him. I'm not going to say good or bad, just different than he was before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear that. I was just asking, see how y'all liked it. I just really liked how that Batman suit looked. I liked is kind of like, I think a lot of issues that people have with live action suits right now, especially as they're over designed. So they put a bunch of lines and they'll put all these paddings and things in them. And one of the things that I liked about the New 52 suit was it was along that same line, because it was still coming out around the same time as like all these new Marvel movies where the MCU was taking over. So like the entire redesign of superhero aesthetic in general was changing.
I gotta say, I don't understand why they decided to make Superman's suit like it was suit looked like it was made of armor.
Oh, I don't think they've done a good Superman suit in a little while.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Are you talking about the picture that was released?
For the New 52.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because it looks like
I thought you
armor.
meant.
Oh no, the new. I love the new suit.
Yeah. It is New 52 inspired, though.
It is.
Yeah. And
But he's got the underwear. He's got the
Iffy.
belt.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's important.
How do you guys feel about because there's the Superman movie next summer, but there's also the Brave and the Bold Batman movie that they've got on the slate that has
Has anything been announced on that?
the
Am
only
I
things I know
behind?
for sure is Damian Wayne will be Robin, which means that if they're doing all of the other stuff, that means Nightwing and Jason Todd and all that stuff's happened.
Right.
Right. And Andy Muschietti, the guy that did The Flash, is doing it, is directing it. Now, The Flash was not a good movie, but there was so much studio interference in that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we've been trying to get a Flash movie since the 80s.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Which I thought the Flash TV show back in the day was okay.
The one with...
John Wesley Shipp.
Yeah.
I hope we get a true Oracle.
Man,
I hope we get a true.
I am worried that what's going to happen is we're going to have to get Batgirl first, and then we're going to have...
They're going to do the whole
Killing Joke.
Killing
We're gonna
Joke
do that
story.
again.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, I wouldn't mind like a flashback to it.
I would rather have her just already beat Oracle.
You know, blurred edges.
Right.
Oracle's so
I would rather the flashback in the Batman movie be not Crime Alley. So, yeah, let's do that. Let's flash back to the Killing
awesome.
Joke.
Joker in a Hawaiian shirt.
Hey,
Like
look.
the Birds of Prey TV show. You get that one?
I tried to watch that. I tried. I was like, what's got Dina Meyer in it?
Yeah.
Click. No, I can't do that. Because
There's
it got to the point where
A Harley
Black Canary
Quinn
has...
and...
Oh, no. Ew. The TV show... If this is the same one,
Huntress?
it had
followed
Huntress and Batgirl as Oracle,
Oracle.
but also Black Canary, who for some reason had psychic powers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this a
This is a TV show?
Yeah.
Oh, I had a movie that came out.
Team up, beat 'em up.
CW.
team up, beat 'em up?
Ugh,
Like, let me
WB.
pull together, right? It was like more like, let me pull
I don't even
together.
remember this one.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
bad.
Because like
It
I
lasted a
followed
season.
Arrow and Flash and Legends
It
of
was before
Tomorrow for a
Arrow.
little while. Like, yeah, no, that's when I started following.
Around,
all
was it
CW
around
stuff.
the same time as Halle Berry Catwoman, right?
Oh,
Probably.
probably.
Same kind of vibe.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. I don't think I was
Yeah.
remembering things back then. So
Yeah. We must break you and reinvent you to save you. Yes.
You mentioned Smallville earlier. Did you ever watch the pilot episode of Aquaman?
Yes, I did.
No.
It's actually,
It's good.
yeah.
I would watch that.
You know, he ended up
That kid was
being
corny as hell.
He ended
I
up
loved it.
being the Green Arrow in Smallville, the guy that was originally
Yeah, Justin
supposed to
Hartley,
play.
I think.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That guy was cool. I liked him too in Smallville. I liked honestly the whole Justice Friends that they put together in Smallville.
Yeah.
I thought it was so corny and so great. It was perfect. That's cool. I didn't know that they were trying to. It makes sense that they're trying to do spin-offs of all of that.
Yeah,
It was
this
a 10-year-long TV show.
pilot's good. I mean, I didn't, but I understand, like, I think it was originally Smallville was supposed to be a Batman kind of, but then WB, right, originally, then it went
Yeah.
to CW.
Yeah.
And I think they were like, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think they were like, nah, it's too dark. It's too dark. Let's do something brighter, something a little bit more mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
So they said Superman, but here's the parameters: no tights, no flight.
Yeah.
And so then they did the pilot episode of Smallville, and then that's where Michael Rosenbaum,
Yeah.
he's by far
He's a
one
pretty
of my
great Luthor.
favorite Luthors.
Yes, absolutely.
Even Lionel Luthor, his dad,
He's my
like,
favorite character in that show.
Oh my
I
God,
love
so
Lionel Luthor.
good.
John Glover's good in everything he does.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, he was great. Like I said, that show gave me an appreciation for Superman that I didn't think I'd ever get. You can tell that there's a lot of love for Superman that went into that
Yes.
show that understood the character. And I mean, obviously they had to. They ended up making a 10-year-long TV show about it. They had to understand and love the character. And I'm glad that I have access to that I can see that and get the appreciation without going back and like reading all of the comics that I know that I have not read, and like, I want to eventually go back, especially I want to read, All-Star Superman. I want to read Red Sun.
Superman is so good.
He's a good one.
I want to go and I want to get all the hits under my belt with Superman. Just like I've read all the good Batman
Did
comics.
Kenny show you the big long list I sent her? Like after we did the episode, we're walking out the door and she goes, "Man, I love Superman." And I go, we're going to be friends. We're friends now. Here, have a giant pile of homework.
Yeah.
I think that's what kicked off comic books for me was Superman.
Yeah, that's what kicked off superheroes in general.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. I ended up like I watched a bunch of TV as a kid, but my parents thought comics were a waste of money, so I never got comics as a kid. I didn't get them until I was working my own job.
Yep,
and like I went to a comic book store and like dug through and like asked them and bought toys from them that I shouldn't have bought that were over expensive, but it's fine. They were cool.
Yeah,
and I wish I could find a small comic book store near my house that I could just go to and visit every Saturday or whatever. Because I wanted to get that Doom comic. I don't know if y'all saw the new Doctor Doom comic that had the MF Doom reference in it.
I saw it was around. I think I saw it.
It's got his lyrics from Accordion, and it says like, cool. Living on borrowed time, the clock ticks faster, and it's Doom like falling down, and I was like, I have to have that, and I could not find a comic book store near my house, and it's such a bummer. But yeah, no, I do want to get back into reading a lot more, just because like I feel like it's important to have these kinds of discussions. You have to know the source material to like be able to sit here and
and I enjoy them, right? But finding a good format, because I cannot justify collecting singles anymore. I have to do
so
like
hard.
graphic novels.
It's so hard.
Yeah,
right. And there's $6.99 at least. Like,
but like
I'm not spending that
that's
much.
the space at home.
That
what am I going to do? Where am I going to keep it?
And I got so many boxes now, and I'm like, I don't want to put them in the attic.
Are they the white boxes?
Yeah, white boxes.
I don't want to display my comics like that.
I would rather just have volumes on a shelf or have
That's what I
Kindle
did.
books.
That's what I did. And I pretty much rebought all my comics because I wanted graphic novels put on the shelf.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you, the New 52 stuff, like, because that's when I was getting way back into it. So we were going every weekend, every Wednesday,
nice.
And then every weekend, if y'all ever have a chance, go to Boomerang over there, little plug.
Over there?
Yeah, dude, that owner, he is great. And, they have a graphic novel program where I think it's you buy 10 and get a free one or something like that. So like as soon as like, hey, you get a free graphic novel, like you just forgot about it, right? And then you go in there, you get your free graphic novel. But yeah, I mean,
it's like I said, it's an important aspect that you have to conquer in order to like when you see when you see posts on Twitter that are just talking dumb crap about a character that you like, but you don't have the comic book knowledge to be like, you're wrong and here's why. You don't want to be like, oh, well, there's this episode of the X-Men TV show where Cyclops was actually very cool. Thank you very much. And like, but there's Cyclops is actually a very cool character, but people make him lame because of those movies. Yeah.
Well, it's like I saw people arguing on Reddit a few days ago about, because there's this Alex Ross painting of Superman grabbing Darth Vader's lightsaber. Oh, he'd lose all his fingers and do. I'm like, no, dude.
It's so funny.
No, he would not. Like, it depends on which version of Superman. Golden Age might lose his fingers. Silver Age absolutely would not. And then, contemporary, since Crisis on Infinite Earths, basically he has an envelope of energy around him. That's where his invulnerability comes from, or at least that was the explanation in the 80s. Yeah, he could grab the lightsaber.
Right.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
This is a Heroes and Villains podcast, right? Concept pending.
Yeah.
Superman, y'all talking about it?
Oh, yeah, we got stuff in the works.
Wait.
I hope y'all do. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, if you guys come by my desk afterwards, I'll show you. Yeah. You people at home will have to wait.
Yeah.
I love my job.
Yeah.
I really do. It's so good. So it's not seeing stuff, it's like making stuff.
Yeah.
Right? All right. Well, folks, this has been Concept Pending, a Heroes and Villains podcast. Thank you for sitting with us this week. And,
thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's a blast.
You can find us on social media at Heroes Villains Brand, or you can find the Concept Pending podcast on social media at Concept Pending. You can visit us on the web, online, www.heroesvillains.com. Thank you both for being here. It's fun.
Yeah.
I'm sure we're going to do this again.